Uh-oh, you know what time it is. Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going down? Hey, what's up to my brothers and sisters out there? Alright, this is the Reluctant Nabi back again. Alright, this is going to be a deep video for today. Alright, so this is going to be one of those note-taking videos, and a lot of things after this is going to make sense. But first, let me greet everybody real quick. Borden Hardu Gudag Ola Oi to the Bank Vasas Los Bonjour Mes Amis Kedden Bawani Konnichiwa Nihani Ama Sani Bonani Jumbo Habaragani Assalamu alaikum and Shalom Kumusta Ka Kumusta Bukayo and Talafa Lava Soifua. Alright, so I just wanted to get that out the way. Alright, this video comes by way of a brother from alright, we had a trip and I told him that hold on, let me say this. Hey brother, I'm live now and I'm giving you mention. So anyway, so this brother, we was talking and walking. We was walking along the beach as I was taking photos. So the photos that you see here in that I'm putting up, you see that blue water. You see a lot of people on the beach. This is apparently a Sunday in Brazil. And so basically, I was there. And we were talking about some stuff. And the brother that I was speaking with, you know, he got some homies, let's say, that is in the business. Okay, so he got some homies in the business. Alright, and he was breaking down some stuff, and then he was telling me as we were talking that, you know what, we're misunderstanding the Bible. How dare you say? And what we're talking about is the plight of the woman. Right? Now, as I wait for whoever else to get up here, alright, as I wait for it, I wanted to break these things down for you real quick. Alright. There's a lot of things we really grossly, I'm saying, we really grossly misunderstood. Alright. We grossly misunderstood. A lot of things that we grossly misunderstood. We didn't get right. And the reason why we didn't get it right, and I kind of fell into this thing too, where I took for granted that when they translated certain words, they got the translation right. Okay? But they did not. And so it's hard to know what they got wrong if you were always taught to believe that what they got wrong was what they got right. Y'all understand how that goes, right? Now, we've been saying for a long time that the BL female was our major adversary. Period. Bar none. Bar none. Alright. And the reason why I'm making this point that she is our major adversary, because she is our outright major adversary. Now, for some of you brothers that's going to have a little more have some knowledge and stuff like that, if you're on my WhatsApp or if you have my messenger, this is going to be a call-in. Alright, so this is going to be one of those that for those of you that might have some more input. Alright, so this is going to be one of those call-ins. This is going to just have a lot of implications to it. Now,
to live off grid,
I wanted to talk about this in the midst of everything else. We look at the downright hypocrisy of the so-called black community, but it's there because all the hypocrites were trained to be that way by the female, the FIFAL. Not really understanding the they're not really understanding the implications behind these things, right? Now, one of the things that I've done is I looked at the Breonna. We're not going to talk about the Breonna Taylor case specifically, but we're going to talk about the impact of that case and some of the things that happened in that case that allows us to see where things are going. But that's not going to be the only thing, right? There was a woman by Jaquie Ferg that put this up, and understand this. She put up, let me show you, and then we'll get that back to there. This is what she put up. But see, this is impossible when these women do not choose men capable of loving them. And we shouldn't love them. Why? Because they don't love us. I'm not saying go and detest or hate anybody, but love means sacrifice. So they don't sacrifice for us. We don't sacrifice for and or protect them. We're not the ones they chose to be in their life. So they do not deserve our protection or sacrifice. All right. But what you do see is the lack of accountability, or downright straight up, they ain't going to be held accountable by no one for any of their actions. How dare we hold them accountable for anything? All right. So let me greet everybody real quick. What's up, Texas Marine Semper Fi, brother? Hey, Daniel, what's going down? Hey, what's up, Captain Marvel? USMC Vet Semper Fi, Clinton Cole. What's going down? All right, and David Bowman. So, I realize that a lot of people are going to be coming through. In the meantime, let me mention this. This is the hypocrisy of the so-called black community. All right. They put out the Trump taxes. I'm going to show you straight up hypocrisy right here. All right. And I wanted to share with you a video. All right. And basically, when they released Trump's taxes, the people that they did it, from the New York Post and stuff like that, they broke the law. So this is not a nation of laws. It's a nation of feelings for the sorry people that have them. All right. So what happened is they broke the law. Worse than that, they forgot that Trump wasn't a paper pusher. His thing was real estate. All right. So any of you own a home, for those of you that own a home and you're paying a mortgage on it, you know you could write that home off as a deductible, right? So what happens if you write the home off as a deductible because it's real estate? Well, you will find that you will have a zero liability. That's right, I said it. You would have a zero liability in most cases. Because that's the trick of taxes, is to pay your taxes down to where you have zero liability. All right. Now, one of the things that I wanted to mention is that I started doing some research to see if Trump actually broke any laws, which he did not. He's been audited for so long by the IRS, it's ridiculous. Because, of course, he's a businessman, and the IRS and all the other government people don't like him because he's not a politician. All right. They train Afro people to not like him, right? So, let me tell you who runs the so-called black community. Women do. Now, there's enough of us men like me and many of you brothers that are on this channel that don't live or want nothing to do with the so-called black community, because you see it as a bunch of foolishness and wickedness, right? So you don't go out to the clubs in the black community. You don't do the hood stuff. See, the black community is the hood. All right. Not to get it confused with the places that, hey, what's up, Black Magic? Not to get it confused with the places that real men like to go to. Oh, Black Knight. See, I can't read. All right. The black community is run by the so-called BL female. And she'll tell you that the only thing that matters in that community, hey, my brother here. Okay, so Paul is up in here. All right. Paul is the reason for, partially the reason, well, he is the influence for this particular video here. And so as went through, hey, what's up, Ducati Royal? As I went through, I wanted to point some things out to you. All right. Now, for those of you that went and looked through the whole 2 hours of the video, and it took 2 hours, is because I was going page after page after evidence, receipt after receipt. I wanted it to be unbiased, right? I explained what some stuff meant, but I basically read it to you. Okay. At the end of it, what I wanted to show you is the mom said, as she was talking to the ex-boyfriend, Mr. Glover, I am speaking to you in code. It's your fault that Breonna got killed. He said, it's not my fault because I'm not the one that fired at the police. In other words, the mom was in on it. The mom knew exactly what her daughter was doing. The mom, oh Lord have mercy. This is the mentality. This is the feminist mentality of these so-called Afro males that turn into this thug life. There's a big sign that says all calls are going to be recorded. Okay, and in this, they think their code is something that the police aren't going to understand. So the mom was in on it, and yet she was paid $12 million. So it makes you ask what else was going on. It's just, you have to ask. All right, but understand this. So a woman that was dealing with drug dealers, was the mule and or helper for drug dealers, dies. And a bunch of other women are able to get a bunch of weak-minded dudes to march in the street for them. And then you have to wonder to yourself, why are the men being led by women? Well, they threw the good men out of the house. So when we go back and look at that Facebook post, that's exactly what happened. But this female is so upset that their children are out of hand because their children have no role models. not realizing that the reason why the children don't have any role models is because these females did not choose to have role models as role models. It's that thug love. All right. So let me point out some other things and then we'll get into this. The other thing is, so we pointed out Trump's taxes. So there was a couple of lawyers here, and basically Trump's taxes is what everybody suspected. He was a millionaire person that was invested in building stuff. Now, so obviously he's going to write off a bunch of his buildings. It's the same way you write off your house. We're going to get to the hypocrisy in a minute. But before we get to the hypocrisy, we're going to get to some irony. Irony is that the reason why Trump was able to pay zero taxes for all of those years and just start to pay $750 in taxes now is because of the Obama era loophole where Obama made all those write-offs to the point where you can go back to 2009 now, or before that. All right. So basically you can go back before 2009 and any losses that you had, you could do those over the years all the way up, and he probably have losses up to 2022. Now remember, he went bankrupt a couple of times during that era. All right. So basically, a dude that's been under more scrutiny than any other president, who the New York Times illegally broke the law, and New York Times are now open for a lawsuit if Trump wants to sue them and everybody involved. Plus, he can sue the IRS is because he did not will for his stuff to become public. And the New York Times investigator went and did it anyway illegally. All right, like Joe Biden and Hunter Biden did all that illegal stuff. But a lot of black folks don't care about when they do illegal stuff. They care about persecuting a man that's following the laws that was designed by a so-called black man. Here is the hypocrisy. How many people checked the BL when they was writing off all those babies' child tax credit? Oh, we know what happened because we hear about it. I know what happened. I know of people that say they do it. You hear about it. You hear them on the bus. You hear them everywhere. Yeah, honey, child. I'ma let so and so use my children as a write-up, and I'm going to get $500, and that's the going rate, $500 for each. Now, here's the thing. All these people mad at Trump, all these black dudes mad at Trump, know these women do it. How come they don't check them? How is it that these women now lead these weak-minded men? That's where we're getting to. What's up, Frankie? That's the question that we're going to answer. This is something we have not understood, but we need to understand it. And this is where Genesis, the 3rd chapter, comes back into play. Ooh, but deeper than that. Before we go back and revisit Genesis, the 3rd chapter, right? I want to take you brothers to Enoch, the book of Enoch, or Hannah, all right? And I want y'all to get some understanding as to what's going on here. All right? And I want you, in all that get an understanding, this is why The so-called black community is thoroughly through. And this is why we need to look at the female as our adversary in general. You have some that are going to show us love, right? But you have two sets of females. You have the daughters of Eve and the daughters of the other women. Now, let me break some other stuff down so that you'll get an understanding. All right. Another thing I want to break down is this. And this is something that you have to understand. When something is written in the news or something, it doesn't exist there because it's the only thing that was happening. It exists there because it was the most significant thing that happened. As I was explaining to Brother Rod and the other brother that's up in here, when we were sitting down, Brother Paul, right? I said, if I was to kung fu kick Rod and Paul in the head in the McDonald's, what would be written in the newspaper is you would know my name, you would know Paul's name, and you would know Rod's name. Why? Because I kung fu kicked them in the head and caused an incident that was outside of the norm of people going into McDonald's. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in McDonald's. There's some loud people, there's some soft people, there's some children running around and stuff, but that's not a significant enough story to write about, right? No, I am the significant story. So when we look at these stories in the Bible, we can't look at them as an isolated event. We can look at it as the most significant event. Now, I say that because Ha-Adam means the man. Adam is not a proper name. It means the man, and more so the species of man, right? And it means the name for man in Hebrew, all right? But in his case, he had more than Eve as a wife, all right? But we'll get to Genesis, but first, let's get to Hanok, right? Enoch, the book of Enoch. All right, and for this, it says, from the days of the slaughter and the destruction and the death of the giants and the spiritual beings of the spirit and the flesh, from which they have proceeded forth, will corrupt without inquiring judgment. They will not corrupt until the day they will of not they will corrupt until the day of the great conclusion. Now, if you want a copy of Hanok, all right, hit me up in my email. In other words, go into the description box, look for my email because it's there. Email me and I will send you that. Don't send me a message telling me to email you. I'm doing enough work for y'all, okay? Y'all got to help out. And some of you old school cats, y'all already good. All right? But some of you other guys, y'all come and want me to not only take you to the water, but then put the cup up to you. No. My email is in the description box, and I'm not going to go look through all the messages and email a bunch of people. But I will go to my email and see all the messages that says, send me the book of Hanok, send me the book of Jasher, send me the Apocrypha, send me the Willie Lynch letter, send me the thing about the CDC recommendations for COVID. I have all of that stuff. All right? And so, basically, help me help you. All right. But basically, yeah, that's pretty much. Help me help you. All right. Help me help you out. All right. So, as we go on, until the great age is consummated, till everything is concluded upon the watchers and the wicked ones. So the wicked ones are the ones that follow the watchers. And so the watchers whose behalf you have been sent to intercede, he's talking to Enoch, who were formerly in heaven, say to them, and this is what Enoch or Hannah is to say to the watchers, you were once in heaven, but not all mysteries of heaven are upon you, and you only know the rejected mysteries. I'll explain this in a minute. Those ones you have broadcast to the women in the hardness of your heart. Who did they broadcast the mysteries of the heavens to? The women that they were screwing. In the hardness of your hearts, and thy mysteries, the women and men multiply evil deeds upon the earth. And by those mysteries, so what the fallen ones have taught the women specifically, those that follow the women get brainwashed by them and believe the same wickedness that they believe. And by those mysteries, the women and men multiply evil deeds upon the earth. Tell them, therefore you will have no peace. You will have no shalom. Wait a minute. When we go back to Genesis, let's get kicking with Genesis now. All right. And before we go there, I want to just make this clear as to what we're dealing with as good Afro men. All right. Now, you got this Women's March co-founder. All right. And this is how we should know we're in a battle for our very souls as men. And we are supposed to rule. And if they can't follow our rule, then we leave them alone the moment we know that they can't follow our rule. All right, this woman, Tamika Mallory, calls Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron a sellout for actually doing the righteous thing, and tells him she has no respect for his black skin. She's the founder of the Women's March, and she harshly criticized Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron, comparing him to a sellout N-word who participated in the transatlantic slave trade. Why? Because Ms. Breonna Taylor, a mule, a woman involved with a drug dealer, a woman that was aiding a drug dealer, a woman that had a homicide in a woman with whom a vehicle that had a homicide victim in it was rented to her, a woman who was driving a boyfriend around, a woman who at the time of her death was given $15,000 to hold, and now nobody knows where it is. All right. A woman with whom the mother knew exactly who and what she was involved in. All right. That case was different from anything else. This is what these women think of any man that does the right thing and judge rightfully. the actions of the female. Alright, that's what she called him. Alright, so we're not going to watch her. There's a reason all this is going on. And I kind of alluded to it. But I needed to break it down in a way that we get clarity to understand that in the presence of these females in the United States, and I'm going to tell you what makes the United States so different. United States, not only do they have laws that are against the men, but their laws also reward the wickedness of the female. And the more destructive she is to the Afro man and his seed, the more she is rewarded. Remember we was talking about now the tax thing makes sense in the hypocrisy of these slow-minded simps? How they got mad at Trump because he legally didn't pay any taxes because Obama gave him the tax break. There was nothing illegal about his taxes. But most of the black women that haven't paid taxes, let's not say most, because we don't know how many, but we know a lot of them who not only did not pay taxes, but they got a lot of money through those tax credits, especially the child care tax credit. Remember, they kept having all those children and more children from them thugs, right? And now they said, well, I can only get so much money for 2 children, so what I'm going to do is allow other people to carry. Oh, but guess who we won't allow to carry the children? Not their fathers. But I'm going to let my aunt, sister, so a bunch of women are allowing a bunch of black women are allowing other black women to carry their children. And they get a kickback. And basically what they were getting was $500. I know this because this is the amount that I hear the most. And it's like when they're selling food stamps, it's 2 for 1. See, I'm good with them exchange rates. Whether it's foreign currency or the BL illegal currency that they do in the hood. Alright? So basically, we want to go straight down to Genesis 3:16. Alright. Can't find my cursor. There it is. Alright, we want to go down to Genesis 3:16. Alright, and the reason why we want to go here is, hold on, before we go in here, let me say what's up, Antonio Johnson, Vinal Marquez, Backwoods Writer. Hey, boa noite, France. What's up, Francis? Alright. Let's see, Rolando. Alright, and One Loyal King. Alright, so let's go into Genesis and see where the problem lies. Alright. And there is a reason why Genesis reads as it reads. It was not only that, but it was the warning to us men that we shall rule over the woman. Genesis, and there's a reason for that she got all the, so the men did not sin, contrary to the pastors at church that teach y'all that it was his fault. The reason why they deflect the blame from the woman to the man is that most of their churches are full of women. All right. It says, to the woman, he said, I greatly increased your sorrow and your conception. So we don't know how fast she was able to pop out children, but it was fast and it wasn't in pain. Bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for your husband. That is the incorrect word right there. And he does rule over you. All right. So now let's break this down. For those of you that want this program, it's called eSource, right? And it downloads the Bible word for word as they're printed, right? But as kind of software. And about the only thing you have to do is free, but they ask for donations. Like I've given them donations. They sent me some others hard drives too. All right, but we're going to compare. Okay, so I have the Hebrew text. Let me see. I think this is it. Or is it? Here it is. That'll be. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So this is the word right here. All right. Now, I know this is hard for y'all to see and read. And so what I did, okay, so Brother Elijah, this is the eSwords, right? I'm gonna, I'm gonna, I'm gonna send you, I'm gonna put a link of it in the description box, right? But here's the word that they translated into husband, but it does not mean husband. And it says contracted for, or perhaps rather from an unusual root meaning to be extent. Okay? So it's unusual how they got the word husband out of that. But what the word means is a man as an individual or a male person, often used as an adjunct to a definite term, such in the case frequently not expressed in translation. Also, another, any man, a certain plus champion. So it means man, any man, right? So what happened is it could also mean a husband, man, right? But when you understand that the word simply means man, and so when you look up the Hebrew term, all right, so let me break this down and go to HebrewStudy.org. Now I'm only going here to show you how this got so messed up. Alright, brothers and sisters. Alright. Sorry about that. Alright, but we're going to finish this video, and look like I'm going to have to go to where it cut off and start it back up at 1:17. Alright. As I was indicating some things to you all. Alright. And for y'all that stuck around, I guess it's meant for y'all that stuck around, because this is about to be some real deep stuff. Alright, so I had to do a couple of things to my computer, and something's up that don't want this particular message to get out. But you know, I'm the I don't give a F kind of type person, right? So basically, alright, basically, as we get down to it, some of the things that I was talking about, alright, what I was talking about is the meaning of a lot of this stuff, and we don't understand that we don't understand the meanings. Alright, and we don't understand the meanings a lot of times because, and I know why it cut out, because I said I was going to get some things for you all. So for you all that stuck around, I'm going to get you the e-swords. Okay, so let me do this real quick. So I'm going to put this in the video itself, right? That's the link you have to go to. Alright, so let me send this out to, that's the link you have to go through, eSwords.net. So I'm going to bring you up on this link real quick. Alright, hold on for a second. Alright, so this is where you are, right? Or where we are. So what you do is you come here and you click this eSwords free Bible study for the PC. Alright, it's going to come up like these four things. Now, what I do because I like one big square, I only like one Bible up. So I click these arrows right here, and that's how I get my blank page, right? Now, if you go all the way through to your left side and up where you see Bible, alright, when you click on that, you can download as many free Bibles as you want on your computer. Alright. And if you see some that you wanted to look at, you can pay. They got some, most of them, like the King James and all the rest of that stuff, the King James 1611 edition, and the scriptures is what I use, and the Hebrew Old Testament. You got the Greek New Testament. Those are going to be free. Now you got some that you're going to have to pay for, but the ones you're going to have to pay for was changed significantly so that you'd have to pay for it. So they, in order to copyright the Bible, you need to change it at least 10% to make it your own. All right, and so that's basically where we're at. All right, so there's that. Hold on for a second. Let me grab my phone. Let me let some of the people know I'm back. All right, I'm back. Depois de volta. Ao vivo. Hey brother, I'm back and I'm demonstrating how to use the e-swords. All right. Okay. Okay, so let me do something real quick. Okay, so let me see if that worked. Hold on for a second. Okay, look like that's not optimal. All right, so basically, so this is how you do the e-swords. Now, if you go up the top, you see that I got all these Bibles here. And what happens is, if I want to download another Bible, if y'all can see what I'm doing right up there. If I want to go and download another Bible on my e-swords, I'll go right up the top here. Let me see if you can see it. So we want to get all that all the way in screen. Okie dokie. So I'll go up at the top where it says Bibles, commentary, all the way up at the top, right by the file button. I'll click on Bibles. And when I click on Bibles, no, I'll click on download. Okay, sorry, my fault. Go up at the top, you'll see Bible commentary, dictionary, tools, options, download. When I click on download Bibles, a drop down will come up and I'll click on download Bibles. When I click on download Bibles, the Bibles that I can download will come up. All right. If you already have them installed, it'll say installed. There is a bunch of them. Right. Obviously, I'm not going to download all of these. Okay. All right. So we're going to take this, the scriptures 2009. I don't know which one I got. All right. So I got some things installed. Right. Once I click on it and once it's here, I'll go back up to this inner box right here and click download and start. Now, as you see, it'll download. All right. And so I'll wait for it to go through the process. All right. So now that I showed you that, let's get back to Genesis and understand how this would be read. And I'm going to tell you how we misunderstood the reading. When it said, and your desire is for your husband, all right, they mistranslated that. Old English in European kind of way, and they lacked understanding. All right, and this is something that most African cultures understand. As a matter of fact, that the black community is a matriarchy. That's some BS. Okay, that's BS. All right. So now let me say this. Once you download it, once you download the Bible that you want, all right, what you do is then you come back and upload the one you want. And bada boom, bada bing. All right, and so this is basically it. Now, so the first version was 1998, so we're going to get rid of that one. All right, so this one, it has the word Nahash. Okay, and this is the one I want. So there's a couple of things that we misunderstood. And so the Nahash was translated to mean serpent, right? All right. And man was translated to mean husband. All right, but that's not the meaning of the word, which I'll go over. Now let's read it. To the woman he said, I will greatly increase your sorrow and your conception. Bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for the man. In other words, they desire to replace the man, but he does rule over you. All right, now this is where the book of Enoch plays a big factor in what's been going on here. All right. All right, so hold on for a second. Let me look at something else. When you look at Enoch, All right. What they did, understand this. What they did is they set up the order. They messed up a lot of stuff when it came to man. All right, they messed up a lot of stuff when it came to man. So now, when we go back to Genesis, greatly increase your sorrow and conception, bring forth children in pain, and your desire is for your husband, and he does rule over you. It should be, and your desire is going to be the man, but he does rule over you. So the woman is desire is to replace the man. Why? Because when we go back into the book of Enoch, all right, let's see. When we go back into the book of Enoch and we look at what was done is they gave their secrets to the woman, and the woman gave the secrets to the men closest to her. All right, I want y'all to understand what happened. Okay, I got good string health right now. All right, so let's understand what happened. In Enoch 6:1, from the days of the slaughter and destruction and the death of the giants and the spiritual beings of the spirit and the flesh, from which they have proceeded forth, which will corrupt without incurring judgment, and they will corrupt to the day of the great conclusion. Right? This is what's going on with the woman. The black woman in the black community is corrupting the community without incurring any judgment from anyone. But you say, but Nabi. I say, what? You say, brother Nabi. It says, but the death of the giants and the spiritual beings of the spirit and the flesh. That means those beings that were, whose body was taken but their spirits remain, they're the beings of the spirit. And then you got the beings of the flesh, that would be the women and their offspring, from which they have proceeded first, will corrupt without incurring judgment. That's the story of the black woman in the black community. Think about it. If you take abortion alone, they murdered over 23 million to 60 million children when you count California, New Hampshire, and Maryland. At least 23 up to maybe 60 million, probably over that now. All right. And they do it with the protection of the law of the Caucasian, or the serpent, or the Nahash. Nahash means crafty one. So they crafted these laws, and a lot of the lay Caucasians do not understand why there's such an uproar. Right? These women will corrupt to the day of the great conclusion. All right. Remember, I told you you have two sets of women. You have the set that come from Eve with the spirit of Eve, and you have the set that had the spirit of the man's other wives. The reason why Eve was mentioned is because basically sin came in the world through her, not the man. Scripture tells you this. Until everything is concluded upon the watchers and the wicked ones. So the watchers and the wicked ones. All right. And so the watchers on whose behalf you have been sent to intercede, who were formerly in heaven, say to them, you were once in heaven, but not all the mysteries of heaven are open to you. And you only know the rejected mysteries. And so this is tantamount to how the new guys have the new smart book, say like in the army doctrine. The old doctrine is good enough, but it's not like the new stuff, like the new weapons. All right, you had the old M1, and you had the doctrine for the M1, the book for the M1, but now we're on the M4, and you don't have that, right? So he goes on to say, those ones you have broadcast to the women. Who did they broadcast them to? Now keep this in mind. The original man was an Afro man. The original woman was an Afro woman. So who did they broadcast all this to? And let me show you something. The most disloyal female on earth right now, statistically speaking, is the westernized, you know who, as we say, female. The BL female, though. All right. And so they taught these to the women in the hardness of their hearts by those mysteries. The women and men multiply evil deeds upon the earth. Tell them, therefore, there will be no shalom. Now, let me tell you why he said the women and men multiply those evil deeds on earth. Now, we got to go back to Genesis. All right. Now, understand what happens when we go back to Genesis. Now, let's go up to... All right, remember that woman that said he's no longer black? That's a question for her. All right, you notice that everything that comes up, these females want you to bend over backwards for them. Why? Because they want to lead you. And we should say F that. No, not no, but hell no. All right. And this is what standing up as men are. Now it's time for us to judge them. And those who decide to fall under our judgment, those are the ones we receive into our camp. Because we got to make new camps, new families and stuff like that. And we can't look at the color of the skin when we make it, when in reference to the women. All right. And any Afro woman that is not united with us, how they say, if they're not for us, they're against us. All right. Now, let's go down to 3 and 6, Genesis 3 and 6. And the woman saw that the tree was good for food, that it was pleasant to the eyes. And remember, the tree was the group of fallen beings. Well, they were fallen after this incident. Good for food. Or they were falling, right? So it was good for knowledge, pleasant to the eyes, so she desired it. And the tree desirable to make one wise. She took of the fruit and ate. In other words, she slept with him, she learned from him. All right, and she also gave to her husband, and he ate. Now, he wasn't with her when she was sort of, getting busy with the Nahash or Azazel. Now we know. All right, the eyes of them were both open, that they knew when they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloth. Now, and they heard the voice of Yahweh Allah walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of Yahweh Elohim amongst the trees of the garden. And Yahweh Elohim said unto the man, and said to him, "Where are you?" He said, "I heard a voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, so I hid myself." So he asked the Most High asked a direct question. He gives a direct answer, and he said, "Who made you to know that you were naked?" Again, let me say this again, brothers. It said, "Who?" Not what. Who made you to know? In other words, when you understand this is a who, then have you eaten of the tree? Now you know he's not talking about a fruit. Because a fruit ain't a who, it's a what. Which I have commanded you should not eat. The tree is a who. So when he says, "Who made you to know?" Have you eaten of the tree? Have you learned knowledge from the people I told you not to learn knowledge from? And the man said, "The woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree and I ate." So the woman gave him knowledge from the tree people and he ate and he learned. All right. So basically, and the man said, "The woman who you gave to be with me, she taught me what the tree taught her and I learned." That's how that should go. Now, you know that he's having it in for the woman, because before he learns, the man don't know any better, but the woman knows full well what was going on. She was convinced by the Nahash because of her greed, lust, and vanity. And Yahweh Elohim said to the woman, "What is this that you have done?" And the woman said, "The Nahash deceived me and I ate." All right. And this is why when he lays out the punishments, he severely punishes the Nahash or Azazel. He severely punishes the women. But for the man, he cursed the ground so that he would have to work hard in order to eat. So he made things not as easy for him anymore, but he didn't actually punish the man physically. He physically punishes the Nahash. He physically punishes the woman, but he does not physically punish the man. Why? Because he did not do the sin. The woman did. And then she convinced him. All right. And understand, she didn't tell him to do stuff. What happened is she convinced him to do it. Because you have listened to the voice. All right. Another translation was hearken for the word for listen. It means to give in after discussion. It means to give in after a discussion or argument or convincing. All right. So now let's go back to the book of Enoch. All right. And as we go back to the book of Enoch, the whole point in all of this is when you look at what's been going on with the Breonna Taylor thing, you got a mom involved in everything who knows what's going on. You got the girl who everybody is marching for, but everybody's not marching. You got a lot of brothers that have manned up, and the real men. Anybody marching for this woman is not. I question their manhood. All right, and the reason being, how you going to follow women when we're supposed to rule over them? But that's the point. Most of these women raise these dudes destroying them. And so now they do the same thing. They hearken after the voice of the woman. That's why the politicians and everybody, Republican and Democrat, keep putting women up in front of us. Because we have to learn not to hearken after these things. Now, if we go back, all right, if we go back, if we go down to 15 and 5, right? So basically, now you have another group. All right, let's go down to 15 and 2. And tell the watchers of heaven, whose behalf you have been sent to intercede. It is meet for you that you intercede on behalf of man, and not man on your behalf. So they flipped. Instead of the Nahash or the Kadesh ones, the holy ones or the angels interceding for man, the man was interceding for them. For what reason have you abandoned the high Kadesh, eternal and eternal heaven, and slept with women and defiled yourselves with the daughters of the people, taking wives, acting like the children of the earth? See, we weren't ready for the knowledge that the Most High had for us, because we were still children. You see what I'm saying? When I was a child, I did as a child, speculative, but when I became a man, I put away childish thoughts. We were children. In other words, we were new to life. We were new to all of this. And begetting giant sons. Surely you used to be Kodesh spirit, the living ones, possessing eternal life. But now you have defiled yourself with women, and with the blood of the flesh of begotten children. You have lusted with the blood of the people, liking them, producing blood and flesh, which die and perish. On that account I have given you wives, in order that the seeds might be sown upon them, and children born by them, so that the deeds that are done upon the earth will not be withheld from you. When we talk about sins of the father, remember I said you have a certain sect of women that seek evil and to have children and bear the children of evil. But all these evil children and all the blood that they shed and all the wickedness that they do, the Nahash are going to, the ones that made it with the women, are going to be held accountable. And that's why they're at the end, the punishment they get is going to be so severe. And it is severe. It's because even in all of this, they're watching their offspring do wickedness in all the earth. All these blood sacrifices, all these child sacrifices, all these things coming about with the pedophilia and all the rest of that stuff. All right, it says, indeed, you formerly were spirit, having eternal life and immortal in all generations of the world. That's why I formerly did not make wise for you. For the dwelling of spiritual beings of heaven is heaven. Wait a minute, listen to this. For the dwelling of spiritual beings, immortals, of heaven is heaven. But now the giants who are born from the union of the spirits and flesh, listen to this, 15 and 8. But now the giants who are born from the union of spirit and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth, because their dwelling shall be upon the earth and inside the earth. Evil spirits have come out of their bodies, because from the day that they were created from the Kadesh ones, they became the watchers. The first origin is the spiritual foundation. They will become evil upon the earth and shall be called evil spirits. The dwelling of the spiritual beings of heaven is heaven, but the dwelling of spirits of earth, which are born upon the earth, is earth, or is in the earth. The spirits of the giants oppress each other. They will corrupt, fall, be excited, and fall upon the earth and cause sorrow. And this is why the woman shall have sorrow all the days of her life. It's because she's brought all these spirits in. Or the spirits came into the earth by way of her. They eat no food, nor become thirsty, nor find obstacle. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of the people and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. All right, and so there you have it. Hey, what's up, Wayne King? Radiant God. All right, so there you have it. The spirits of heaven belongs in heaven. All right, because they're immortal. But anytime any immortal puts a seed inside a woman, they create evil. All right. In other words, the female should not be leading nothing. Period. This might be a video I need to repeat. But the female should not be leading nothing. No real man, no real spiritual man, and no man seeking righteousness should even follow anytime I'll put it this way. There was a dude in Facebook, and he wanted me to listen to Candace Owens and ask what she had to say about Breonna Taylor. I said, I don't need to listen to her. And I said, first of all, don't ever put a black woman in my face, especially one married to a Caucasian dude, because she belongs to y'all. So you listen to her. But as for me, you talk to me man to man. Period. I don't want to hear anything you have to say about her. Period. No, I don't want to hear anything you have to say about her. Period. All right. And so that's basically it. Right? I don't have time for the garbage. All right. So this is where we are. We are in a place, always get a thumbs down. It's probably from a wicked woman or one of them simps. But anyway, we are in a place where we are supposed to leave these females alone. The only ones we deal with are the ones that's going to follow our leadership. Period. And that's how we will know that they aren't the daughters of Eve. but they are the daughters of man. Remember, hey, what's up, $3 assassin? Alright, remember, you got another group. Remember, he gave the Nahash wives, alright, and told you that that offspring is going to create all kind of havoc on earth. Alright, and so if we, the Afro man, were made in the image of the Most High, and then as we look, we have a new set of human beings. And when you think about it, the people that think they come from monkeys are the new human beings. All right? Think about that. Yeah, I know. I know you're lying. All right. So as we look at this stuff, right, they're supposed to be replaced. All right. These females are supposed to be replaced. And another thing, the problem isn't the womb, is who the seed bearer is. Let me repeat that. The problem isn't the womb, is who the womb chooses to bear the seed. So it says that the children of these Kadesh ones, the fallen, they have wives, but these children are going to be evil because that's all they can be. All right, and all the women along with their wicked ones, they shall know nothing but sorrow. Now here's the thing, if life is so great and they got all these advantages, hey, what's up, Carlos? One have to ask yourself, why is it that these females, these BL females, are seeking witchcraft? They're looking for every other religion, right? They're not going to know happiness until they come back under the authority of the Afro man and not any other. And this is the secret that Caucasian females are feeling deep in their soul, especially for the ones that go after good Afro men. They're understanding that there is a covering that comes when you have the Afro man ruling over you, and it is a spiritual one, because any other form of covering, all these laws and stuff, that's not spiritual. Now, if you go back and read, all right, evil spirits came out of the women. Period. Remember, I told you the Jesus narrative is fake? This is the reason it is. The Most High understands, no, he ain't going to put no spirit, the Holy Spirit. All right? And the other thing, we as men don't need no Holy Spirit. The good brothers always had it because it's how we were created. Y'all got to understand how we were created. Let's go to Genesis. Let's go back to Genesis so that y'all will understand how we were created. And in all that getting understanding, Genesis 2. Now, pay attention to this. We're going to go 2:7. Let me outline this in blue so that you can see it kind of well. Let me make sure I got it in frame here. All right. Sucker doing all kind of stuff. What did I just do? I think I did a whole bunch of stuff I did not intend to do. Yeah, I did. Okay. Hold on for a second. That's where I mean to go. Okay. So, back to Genesis. It said, and Elohim formed man out of the dust from the ground. Okay? Elohim formed man from out of the dust from the ground. And breath into his nostrils. Now here's the question. As you look at everything, forms man from the dust of the ground, breath into his nostrils. All right, I want y'all to understand something. Breath into his nostrils. The breath of life. And then he became a living soul. But when did he become a living soul? Think about that. He became a living soul after some breath went into his nostrils. But whose breath? The Most High's breath went into his nostrils. And after the Most High's breath went into his nostril, he became a living soul. Y'all see how that works? So when we talk about man, what a man is, what that spirit is, most of the times these people get it wrong. When we talk about what a man is and what that spirit is, they get it wrong. Because people don't want to understand what makes up a man. All right. And living soul means living being. So we've always had the Spirit of the Most High in us. That's what makes us living. All right. And when we procreate with somebody and give them our seed, and when we say living soul or living lives, our seeds that we create have that essence of the Most High in it. And when we pass it on to a woman, that creature is created as a living being or soul. Now, if you look at scripture and oftentimes look at when I'm reading and it says, Son of man, Son of man, Son of man. Hey, what's up, Carlos? When you look at it and it says Son of man, that is because everything that is created on earth is not the son of a man. When you hear Son of man, judge the women. Son of man, judge the preachers. Son of man, judge the government. All right. In all of that, we are supposed to be judges is because we have the Spirit of the Most High most directly in us. And everybody else has pieces of it, but some are just plain old evil. Some of these families running around here are the families of the Nephilim, are the families of the fallen. All right, and they only know to do evil. That's why you have all these sacrifices and stuff going on in California, all these secret clubs and stuff like that, because it's the children of the fallen getting together, and you're not a part of it. When you look at these Masons and Freemasons and these Black Masons and stuff like that, they ain't nothing but a subgroup of somebody that has a Caucasian running over them. They just happy to be in that group. That's why we're not supposed to be in those groups. All right, so understand that. That's where we come from. This is why we don't need to tarry for crap. We already know right and wrong. We already know good and bad. In our hearts, our problem is we have to get back to that place is because we have been conditioned by our moms, the BL female. We have been conditioned by them to follow the system blindly to the point where we don't even know how to judge righteously. This is why you got all these fools mad at Trump. Because it's taxes, but Joe Biden could have Russian deals and his son could buy cocaine, have women and all the rest of that stuff, and it don't bother those dudes. And it don't bother those dudes because those women have sapped them of all their spirit of manhood. Why? Because it goes back to Genesis 3:16. Their desire is to replace the man now that we have understanding. Their desire is to be in the position of the man. But the Most High made it clear to them. But the man does rule over you. No, not in charge, not 50-50, not the head. No, he rules over you. That means to rule, he passes judgment. When he sees you doing wicked, he judges you as wicked. But understand this, brothers, we are in a battle. And we've always been in a battle. It's just that as they get more wicked, because there is no peace within these females. Because when they left the man, they left their covering. So they're looking for everything but the good Afro man. They're making deals to be with the wicked men, Afro or otherwise. And when they pay, or when that wickedness causes them, they want everybody to be on board. But we must say no. We out. You break, you buy. Alright. We do not have to put up with it. We are not responsible for their happiness. We are not responsible for their safety. They left our covering. See, so that female on Facebook can get mad and upset all she wants. Alright. She can get mad all she wants. But at the end of the day, alright, mark my words, at the end of the day, these women have forsaken the leadership of good men. That means everything that's coming to them, they deserve. And the sorry men that are following them instead of judging them, they're going to be judged along with those fallen. Alright? And the reason why they're going to have hell to pay is because, like the female, they decided to line up against the good Afro man. All these dudes. You know, the dudes that's running around and all the rest of that. Alright? Here's the thing. Here's the thing. You got a lot of these weak-minded men that will always jump on board with the female to challenge the good man, while at the same time approving of every wicked thing that these females do. From abortion to having relationship with thugs, doing the Derek Jackson bit, acting like it's the man's job to cover for these females, as these females not only destroy the man, the community, but their seeds and potential for them seeds to prosper. You see what I'm saying? Hold on. statistical percentages. Exclamation point. Nice deflection tactic try though. Exclamation point. Alright, so brothers, this is what it is. We're going to get back into this tomorrow, hopefully without interruption. And tomorrow I am going to start at 7 Central. That'd be 9 o'clock here. So I'm going to start at 7 Central. Alright, and we're going to cover this again. And I don't know how I'm going to title it, but it's going to be like, we're at war. We're literally at war for our souls. And the main person trying to corrupt it, yep, is the BL female. Alright, so with that said, y'all, I'm out. Y'all already know what to do. Y'all the old school people in here. So my donation links and everything is in the description box, as well as everything else. Alright, so tomorrow we are really going to go through this in depth, and I'm going to show you, better than I could tell you, the wickedness that is coming our way by way of the BL female. Alright, and it ain't going to be nothing nice, so don't expect it to be. I mean, what they're going to bring our way. But we can avoid them like the plague. Alright, with that said, I'm out. I'll holler at y'all tomorrow.